Hello, and welcome to The Standpoint. Today's edition is going to be a continuation of last week's edition. Last week we heard the story of Juliana Amakplofia, amazing young woman who is where she is because of faith and self-determination. Determination. She went through a lot, but she's come far. And she says she's a bird in flight. She's not perching. She's only perching for a while. She's not settling. She's on the move. It's not easy, but she knows where she's going. But sometimes you don't have anybody to help you. Sometimes you don't have the support systems. And unfortunately, we live in a country where the support systems are not the best. So sometimes it's just you. As they say, it's you and your God. Family has turned its back on you. Friends see you in a different light. And wherever you go, for support come tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. So it is you and your God. Today we are going to look at self-motivation. The Bible says, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. Self-motivation. My name is Gifty Auntie. Let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth. This is their new brand in town. They call it the Nouveau brand. Thank you to Ophelia Crossland Designs for sewing this dress for me. My accessories today, just the earrings by Kwa Designs. They are at Laboni. Power Cosmetics, ever faithful, Power Cosmetics provides us with a makeup product, and Makeup and More applies the makeup for us. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. If you just joined us today, we are looking at self-motivation and necessity for achievement. The Standpoint is also aired on ABN TV, which is across Western Europe, parts of Canada, Asia, and North Africa, on Sky Channel 235. And at our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh, powered by Dream Oval. Let me say thank you to our sponsors, Anointed Electrical Engineering Services, the generator expert, Tinated Herbal. They produce Tinated Venicare and Tomacare. Leap Tomato Paste. Good tomato, good taste.
Ashene Pankasa. Goel, good energy.
NS Chemist. They produce Auntie Mary's Baby Gripe Mixture and Nescofa Black Tonic. Wilma Africa Limited. Frito cooking oil. You know about that already. And they have the Fortune Rice as well. Fortune Rice comes in 3 types. The green, I'm going to say 3 types, the packaging. You can identify it by the packaging. The green one, the packaging, we're talking about colors and packaging. The green one is very good for mutu and rice water and soft dishes. The orange one is good for wachi. And then the wine one is good for jollof rice and fried rice and all the nchichi rices that, you know, you need a good quality Thai rice for. So you go for it. We are so grateful to all our sponsors. And let me come straight to the studio because we are going to talk about self-motivation and necessity for achievement. Seated right next to me, it's Mrs. Lydia Amankwa. She is a teacher and a lecturer. Welcome to The Standpoint.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for Mrs. Amankwa is coming all the way from Kumasi to be part of this program. I'm so grateful.
It's a pleasure.
And I must also say that it is her idea. This topic is her idea. She said, Gifty, we need to talk about it. And I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Now, she's also a member of an association that I belong to. I'm going to get into trouble right now. It's called Women in Leadership International, Willie for short. And the lady seated next to her, Madam Comfort Oduro-nyarko, Chief Executive, Makola Institute, is also a member of Willie Ghana and International. Welcome to The Standpoint.
Thank you.
Next to Madam Comfort is my sister from another mother. When you see us, you see trouble. She's Mrs. Dinah Adiko, gender consultant, and by end of this month, she'll be part of Willie. Finally. Welcome back to The Standpoint.
Thank you so much, Gifty.
Lydia, I mean, let's go back to the issue of self-motivation and why you thought that this is something that we need to talk about.
Thank you very much. I chanced on the theme for Standpoint this year. We said, woman, be an achiever.
Yeah.
And I am an HR expert. Okay. That's my background. Then it just clicked. Because somebody just get up and achieve. Your parents may have plans for you. The society may just look at you and say you have this and that potential. But the point is, if your inner self does not allow you to be an achiever, you cannot. And so whilst I was brooding upon it, it just clicked. If you want to achieve, then the key is self-motivation.
So being an achiever has to start from you. You have to
make
a decision and have a passion for it
before you can be an achiever. Otherwise, people are hoping that you achieve. But if you yourself, you don't have the conviction, I bet you can never.
That's deep. Auntie Comfort, do you agree?
Okay, to a very good extent, I do agree with Sister Lydia. But personally, I say to myself that there wouldn't be any self-motivation if there isn't any downturn in whatever endeavor that you are trying to achieve. I was in the business at Makwala for a long time. I got everything that I wanted in my business because it yielded profits a lot. So I realized I had achieved, but not knowing I hadn't achieved until I had a downturn in my business, until I had some bitter experiences in my business, until I was disappointed by so many people in my business, and I had a great loss in the business. Then, of course, the self-motivation came into my life for me to reorganize myself and start again.
Lydia, do you get it?
I get it. She is talking about life experiences. The theme is saying a necessity to achievement. What it means is that there are other factors coming in. The externals are very important. The social support system is there. The family support system is there. The economy is there. But then, the key, the master key for you to open to the room of achievement is yourself.
Because even with Auntie Comfort's example, Dinah, even with a downturn, you still have to get the self-motivation to keep moving, because it could have crippled you.
Yes.
You could have just given up. Totally. That's it. I'm done. Some will end up at a psychiatric hospital. Some will end up, God forbid, killing themselves and, doing stuff to themselves.
Absolutely. So be it as a starting point or be it as a turning point for all of us, absolutely right. Motivation is key. Motivation, and basically what is motivation? Is the desire to do or the reason to do something. What is the reason in Auntie Comfort's scenario? Things looked good, they turned down. She has a motivation to turn them back to where they were. As human beings, and coming from a gender perspective, we entered into this society with a certain expectations of us. We were limited. There's that expectation that a certain kind of people who we call female will not be able to make it in certain kinds of things. So even before we set off, there's that expectation or discouragement that you can't do it. So the can't do around you would require high doses of I can do. And that I can do is what we are saying motivation. And how do you find that? Some of it is very unconscious. I'm sure probably until today, a lot of people haven't even counted the achievements they've had and thought about what made them do it. Some of it is just to prove to people that they indeed can do it. Some of it is because we need to do it. Some people are holding on to certain kinds of job, waking up in the morning and going because they need the reward, which is a salary. Others are waking up and coming and hosting standpoints because they love to share stories. They love to have young people listen. There's that motivation, there's that passion, and there's that drive. We do not even, and sometimes not even aware the doses we have. Sometimes we don't even know that we're doing things and we're doing so well and there's some motivation. My first point, of course, is know yourself. Know yourself first and like yourself and love yourself. Appreciate who you are.
You are taking us to the next level. But Auntie Comfort, you wanted to say something before I take the short break here.
Yes, in fact, this topic, when I got it, I realized that it was speaking to me. That's why I have my own way of talking about self-motivation.
Yeah, because of your experience.
Because of my experience, because when I was at Makola and things were so okay for me, I never thought of developing myself because why? Every day I could sell about over 10,000 Ghana cedis. Those times we used to call it 100 million cedis.
Yeah.
I had shops, I had cars, I had people around me, and I had sales boys, sales girls, house girls, all staying around me. By the just a snap of my finger, somebody is in to come to help me. What will make me motivate myself? But when the downturn came, when people started neglecting me, when as a rich woman that I was those times, people were inviting me to be chairpersons of their wedding programs. When they all had run away from me, when banks were chasing me, when people I had fed before were just running away from me, and when nobody was calling me from the year 2011 to 2013, ask anybody in Ghana here whether the person sent me a phone call. Nobody. And that was where I realized that I needed to get up and motivate my own self. So that is my definition of my self-motivation. There should be a downturn before self-motivation.
Auntie Comfort, you're still hurting.
Very.
You are still hurting. I can tell it is a very bitter experience.
Very. From 2007 to 2009, I was being chased about by banks. Ask the traditional banks. Ask the financial institutions that have just sprung up. Ask them whether they know me. And I wish some of them are watching me right now.
And today, you same woman won an award when?
I won an award just about a month ago. The Best National Banking and Finance Woman in Community Development.
This is the point where I have to take a break, and then we come back, and you know that you need to sit up and, know that you are in for an education, for motivation, for you to empower yourself and encourage yourself. Thank you to Gogot Yogurt. Thank you to Matames for the port. Thank you to Yep Cleaning Services. And then, of course, Auntie Vera, House of Foods, Cake Techniques, who never fails at. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. I always tell you that with The Standpoint, I never know the time it will take. All I know is that this is a platform to encourage, to empower, to motivate, to help find healing, solutions, and closure. This is a platform for women, for children, for young people. And I believe that somebody out there is being touched. And I'd like to say thank you once again to GTP for my cloth, Ophelia Crossline Design, sold this dress for me. My earrings from Koa Designs. Paba Cosmetics gives us the makeup product, and Makeup and More applies the makeup for us. We are talking about self-motivation, a necessity for achievement. Mrs. Amankwa, do you have to get to Auntie Comfort's state before you realize that I need to motivate myself? Because it can be, you can get there and you'll give up.
Yes. I will say that life is not a straight path. So you don't need to get there before. We say catch them young. That's why we are here.
Are you having this program?
To touch young lives and even those who are yet to be aware of themselves. We call something the actual self and the ideal self. When you do emotional intelligence, I'm back to that. The actual self is the real you. That's how you are made up. And the ideal self is what you want to become. And you could see that with Auntie Comfort's case, she had a vision, something ahead of her. And all of a sudden, between the actual and the ideal, there was
No,
a
Auntie
gap.
Comfort had reached her comfort zone. She had reached her comfort. She thought
All was rosy.
all was rosy. I'm okay where I am. I'm comfortable. You know, what can go wrong?
All right, so before you get there, okay, the gap brings out your needs and you have to work upon it, which means that when you do this analysis of the actual self and the ideal self, then you are able to determine your strengths and weaknesses. So anytime you have a weakness, you need to work on it so that it will become a strength. And then you use it for your achievement.
How can you
now,
know that
as
it's
women,
your weakness?
it depends on how long you stay on the challenge. When challenges come, as a young woman or adult or whoever it is, it's part of life. But how long do you brood over before you move on? That is something we all need to work on. You failing is normal. You falling is normal. You being treaded upon is normal. But how quick you are able to get over it is the most important thing.
Dinah, Lydia kept hammering on this point that falling or stumbling and falling is normal. Failing is normal. Making mistakes is normal. But sometimes you may not know. So it happens and your whole world has come to an end.
The system crowds you out. The system, after prescribing what the different sexes can do, men and women can do, also goes another step to put in check and balances that prevents you. So there's a prescription of what women and men can do or should do. And then your father defies that and inspires you. You had an external motivator who said, go out there are no limitations. You go out there and the system says, no, you're overstepping your boundaries. You are not welcomed here. So that can also feed into failures, as you talked about. One of the biggest demotivators is failures. When we fail, when we do not succeed, we begin to believe the things that were ringing around our ears already, that it was not going to happen. So they have been proven right. Trust yourself that you are more than people are seeing, and you are more than you are seeing. The little experience I've had in life is built on what you have succeeded. Don't rest and don't lay back, and don't doubt yourself. Don't buy into people's perception, prescription, and assumptions about you. Know yourself and know your limits. And most of the literature and our own life experience that we do better at the things we enjoy the most. So start from the point of comfort and gradually warm ourselves in the point of discomfort and acknowledge that we are bound to fail in some cases. You see, they say all the fingers are not the same, but the good thing is that all of them grew to their fullest potential. This one could have been shorter. But it has reached this level. So we all grow to our fullest potential. Know your potential. Be a dreamer. Aim for something and achieve it. And just don't sit and rest and say, me dear, my bread.
Don't just get to a point and say, me dear, my bread, and just give up. You could have decided at that point, Auntie Comfort, that me dear, my bread, and you give up. What made you decide that I need to encourage myself, I need to motivate myself to pick up and get back on my feet?
Yes. In our African setup, and for that matter, in Ghana here, the society, the community, wherever we find ourselves, we do not help each other. I have gone to Makola, where by no fault of mine, court bailiffs, including other security personnel, Alsatian dogs, have come to lock up my shops, throw my wares outside. People were looting them. And those that I could lay hands on, I just put them in vehicles that were passing by and directing them to my houses. Whether they were able to send all to my house
or not,
or not, know. I couldn't tell. And human beings saw the injustice that was done to me. Yet, human beings teased me. Yes, you said you have been to school before, now you are in Makola. Now see, you were not able to perform. My mother would tell me, if you do things right, you will never have such a problem, because maybe you have fought it somewhere. That's why you are facing this problem. So I had to think where I fought it. I'll be thinking, I'll realize I haven't done anything untoward to anybody, yet I'm suffering or was suffering. Then one day, I just switched on the telly, and I saw Dr. Joyce Ayi. She was being interviewed, and she told the interviewer that her proper life started at age 55.
Yeah.
By that time, I wasn't 55 years yet. I said, hey, so is there hope for me? Wow, all is not lost yet. Somebody started good life at age 55, and I'm not 55 years yet. Then I met somebody who gave me a book, Cindy Trim, an empowerment lady who writes a lot about empowering people. And I read somewhere and she said, but you think you are the only person suffering in the world? Others are suffering more than you are suffering. So get up. So the next day saw me going through my trunk, my chore box, looking for my old certificates. And then decided then I could go to school. I was admitted to Regent University College in 2011, level 200.
So you went back to school?
I went back to school.
How old were you then?
At Regent, I was about 52.
Wow.
Yes, to level 200.
But you went.
And I went.
That is some determination and motivation.
I went to school because I realized after the 3 years, I may have my first degree, and I could equally use that, or I could equally say with Dr. Joyce Ayi that life really begins at 55 for me.
I don't even know what to say. I have to take another break. When we come back, we'll continue from here. I don't even know what to say. Wow. Yeah. You think you've been through things and you've overcome them. This is real life story. This is real life story. Well, again, let me say thank you to our sponsors. African Women's Development Fund, AWDF. They support African women's rights organizations across Africa. Anointed Electrical Engineering Services, the generator experts, Tenated Herbal.
Ashene Pankasa. Goel, good energy.
Lip Tomato Paste, good tomato, good taste. NS Chemist, producers of Auntie Mary's Baby Gripe Mixture and Nescofa Black Tonic, and Wilma Africa, producers of Tritol Cooking Oil and Fortune Rice, which comes in 3 flavors. 3 types, not flavors, 3 types. The green one, which is very good for omutuo and rice tota. The orange one, very good for wache. And then the wine one, good for jollof and fried rice. We'll be back. Self-motivation and necessity for achievement. And I would like to say thank you to our supporters, Go Got Yogurt, House of Foods, Cake Technique, and Yep Cleaning Services. And of course, Matamis gives us the port. Lydia, we have heard a lot from Auntie Comfort. Yes. When we were all coming, we didn't know we're going to have a true life experience.
So it means we also have to add up.
Yes. We didn't know we were going to have a true life experience from somebody who's been through it all. So sometimes it can all be rosy. Yes. Sometimes it hits you and you're like, this is it. And sometimes too, you think you can't have it. I mean, you can't do it. People say that we all have different temperament and different capabilities. How we handle things is different. So how would you be able, no matter your temperament, no matter your emotional capabilities, how would you be able to put yourself together and say that, listen, though I have no one, though I have no money, though everybody says I can't do it, I believe in myself that I can do it. I can start from here and maybe get there.
You need to surround yourself with achievers, people who have made it. You need to read books that are telling you that you can make it. Beside your Bible, there are other books that you can read. However, you are watching telenovelas that are telling you that if somebody stops loving you, then you have to kill yourself. Then you see that you are feeding yourself with the wrong growing process. So you need to establish yourself well. If you know your weakness, you don't feed yourself with these telenovelas that are not telling you the reality. And I would like to chip in this. As a young girl growing up, I grew up with my grandmother, who was quite religious. And at that time, they were falling on pastors. It's what the pastor says that they believe. It wasn't their fault. That was the era. Then a pastor said, your granddaughter is very intelligent, but there are certain things, what we now call akwankyerɛ. If it's not done, this girl cannot make it in her education. She will go and go and go, and it will not get anywhere. So we were the last batch of sixth formers. And when the A-level results was released, though I had Division 1 for the O-level, it backfired. And you see this old lady saying the prophecy has come through. So I was depressed for about 3 days, and I walked out. I heard the horn of a car on the streets of Edum blowing. I was nearly knocked down by the car. I didn't know.
You didn't know what was going on?
Yes. Then this aged man got out from the car. I said, lady, what is the problem? The tears started running. I said, it appears some prophecy has come through, which though I don't really... In fact, that is when I understood self-motivation, way back that time. So the man said, put yourself together. You have more years ahead of you to organize yourself. Because I had Division 1 for the O-level, quickly I went back to training college. That's why I'm always proud to introduce myself as a teacher because
and a lecturer.
That is the genesis of my career. And I enrolled with MBA too. I'm down now a lecturer. But I know the sky is now just the beginning. It's not the limit, as it's saying. Where I am now, if Abraham and Sarah could tell their stories in the 100 years and 90 years, I'm not even 40. So what is my fear? The future still looks bright.
The future still looks bright. You know, despite all that we are talking about and giving practical examples, there's somebody still watching say, you don't know my situation. You don't know. How do you convince such a person that, let's say, you need to get up? The accounts have something they say, sorry waka. How do you say it in Ewe? Yeah. Just get up. You know, don't think about it. Just get up and move. Take a step of faith.
It is your choice to start again. The choice is ours. The choice and the decision is in our hand. Somebody else is also watching you. If you're able to get up today, you're able to make that difference. You are touching so many lives. Don't celebrate the failure. Who is going to give us a trophy for failing? But change the story and be like Auntie Comfort. We all have stories to tell. Once upon a time when I was in secondary school, I was so ill that I could hardly do a term through. The second term, third term, it was so bad that and we're approaching exams, final exams. So my parents called me, you know those times when they'll call you at 5 a.m. and 4 a.m. So they called me at 4 a.m. and I struggled from my room to their room. My mother came, opened the door, and I went and sat. They said I should sit by them on the bed. And my parents said to me, we have noticed with pain the struggle you are going through on health grounds. And we think the fact that you are thinking about your final exams is holding you back. So we want to tell you that we'll give you all the financial support. Forget about the exam if you don't want to write it. Stay at home, let's take care of you. When you go, we can establish you in business and you'll be fine. We know you can run a business effectively. I told them thank you with tears, lots of tears. I cried. They cried too. And we went back onto it. And when I went to my room, I said, no, I was going to write the exams, even if it was F. I have seen able-bodied students who got F. So when I get Fs, people actually have sympathy on me and say that she tried and she got 1 E. So I wrote the exams, and I didn't get a single F. First application, those were the time we were waiting a year to go into the university, in 1998. I applied to University of Ghana, and I entered. And I did my degree, and I graduated with a first class. So I could have easily said, oh, this health, it was a really bad, I had to go for major surgery right after the exams. Writing the exam, my English paper, I knelt on a pillow because I couldn't sit. That's how bad it was, but I was determined to just I can do something. Is this the end of the world? Would health be the end of the world for me? If it was the end, when it comes to end, we'll all see that it has ended. That is the day I would have left. But so long as there's a little life, there is hope. And today, I was able to go to school and go again, and probably will go again. When Auntie Comfort is going next, I'll follow her to go and check admission. So we will do it and do it. So determine for yourself today as you watch and say that I want to celebrate my failure, or I want to damn it and move forward and change my life and that of my family. The decision obviously is yours.
Now, Auntie Comfort, in conclusion.
In conclusion, I just want to encourage people that no matter how bad your situation is, just ask yourself one question. Are your problems bigger than those of Job? And then the Methodist hymn 896, it says, problems are there, but please, in the midst of problems, we are praising famous men. Famous men who lived their lives and left footprints. So, what footprint are you leaving? When upon life's billows, you are tempest-tossed. When you are discouraged, thinking, all is lost. Just count your many blessings.
Name them one by one.
And it will surprise you what the Lord has done. The same God who saw me at Okanshi or Makola, the same God who made me excel so much that other traders tagged me as Sikadro Lady. He sat down and he intentionally turned his eye this way as if he was no more with me. Then he made me weep. But now he turned around to me when I prayed, when I self-motivated myself through hymns, through gospel songs. And now I have completed my Master of Science in International Accounting and Finance with the Buckinghamshire University in the UK. I completed 2016 May. And now, by the help of one professor, Joseph Ofori Dankwa, I have an office at the Makola Institute. All that I do is that the problems I went through, the loans I couldn't calculate well, and people were tossing me about. Now, if you are a trader, come to my office. We sit down. I help you to calculate. Why are you going for a loan? Come, let's see if there should be any other avenue that can help you more than taking a loan for you to be sometimes chased like I was chased. So my brothers and sisters, life shouldn't end when there is a downturn. Get up again and pick up the pieces and start afresh. Life goes on. Thank you.
Well, what can I say? Thank you so much for coming to share your experience, Dinah, Auntie Comfort, Mrs. Amankwa. Thank you so much. We take a break. When we come back, I'll give you a bit of me. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. But interestingly, sometimes when you're going through tough times, it doesn't seem as if you have any blessings. You turn around and everything seems so dark. Everything seems so confusing. Everybody seems to, the world, in fact, the universe seems to be conspiring against you. Yes, sometimes you find yourself in that spot. But when you get there, just wait a while. Just wait a while. Be patient. Be a little bit tolerant. My father used to say that before day breaks, when you get up and you look out, it looks so dark. So dark, it can scare you. But then a few seconds, then day breaks. And it's so true to life, and many people will testify to this. When things get really tough and you feel like all is lost and you feel like giving up, if you stay just a little longer, if you become a little bit patient, things just begin to fall in place. All because you decided to fight on, to keep moving, not to give up. You see, in life, your pain can become your power. Your pain can become, and your mess can be the message that will turn your life around, 10 people's lives around. Life is tough. It's not easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Life is tough. But we can all make it. We can all make it, and less stress. Making it doesn't mean having all the money in the world, but making it meaning being happy and proud of yourself. There's something in being able to do something for yourself as a woman, not having to depend on a man or a woman or any other person. But we all do need help every now and then. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. My name is Ohineye Gifty Auntie. As always, I have super crazy faith in God. And again, I tell you, I'm not here because I did anything right. It's not because I didn't make mistakes. It's not because I didn't fail. It's not because I have it all. I've been through it, ups and downs. But by His grace, determination, hard work, I am here. You can do it too. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.